Hello everybody, this is OLB, One Lucky Bullet, here with a sort of impression slash, I guess, review, if you will, of Rainbow Skies, which just came out the 29th, I believe, or the 26th, one of those days, I don't know, it was a long week last week. It came out for the PS3, the Vita, and the PS4. So it basically came out for two dead systems and a thriving system. Which, you know, whatever. It's kind of weird, but hey, good. You know, it's good for them to kind of support the other people or the other consoles. This game has probably been one of the more polarizing games that I've played. You ever have an itch and you scratch it and it hurts, but it also feels good? That's this game. It is literally a flawed, horrible piece of crap that I continue to keep playing because it's scratching an itch. It's a kind of strategy turn-based RPG. It's a sequel to, I believe it was called Rainbow Moon back on the Vita and the PS3. And I think, if I remember right, they re-released it for the PS4 and they did a limited run games for it. And it was an okay game. It was an okay little RPG. Well, and now maybe nostalgia's getting the best of me. I like that game. I put a little bit of time into it. And I almost feel like that one was better. Feels like they took everything good about that game, took it all out, and left the bad, and said, hey, here's a new game. We're going to make this game. It's got the premise to hook you, just for the kind of tactical RPG-ish, and you can create your own little monsters. Well, maybe not create, but you can... Later in the game, you'll be able to breed your own monsters. You'll beat up monsters, get eggs from them. You can hatch them, yada, yada, yada. The big problem with the game is the characters suck. They are probably some of the worst characters ever in the history of RPGs. They are so lacking in development and just interesting tidbits about them. There's just nothing. The tutorial for the game is broken down to the characters insulting another character by making him basically think he's stupid because he doesn't understand the battle systems and stuff. And so every time that the game introduces something new or something that they think you should know, you get a kind of mini dialogue between the main characters where they're basically insulting each other about how dumb they are for not knowing this. And I just don't understand that. The game, the controls, are, for the most part, on the overworld map, okay. There's no camera, or at least one that I didn't find, to adjust the view. You're kind of looking down on it at like a 3D isometric kind of view where you can't see everything. So you can't see hidden paths. You can't see if there's a monster standing in that hidden path. You basically, it's trial and error by pushing the square button multiple times to keep bringing the map up and looking for dark shaded areas in an area that you're currently exploring to try to figure it out. But it's also addictive at the same time because you keep wanting to unlock more and more of the map. And that brings in another problem. This game has some of the worst difficulty spikes I have ever seen in a game. And I'm not saying like, oh, it's brutal, Dark Souls, Bloodborne type game. No, this game is just unfair. At least in those games, if you get your ass kicked, you know why. You made a mistake, you didn't, manage your stamina or whatever. This game, it's just, you're cruising along and all of a sudden it's like, boom, here's just 20 or 30 enemies at a time that are the same level as you or a little lower than you, but hit twice as hard as you and get more turns than you repeatedly, over and over. And don't even get me started on your character skills, because they absolutely serve no purpose other than the mage girl and her fireball, because that thing just seems to wreck everybody. Your kind of knight guy is only good against certain enemies, and they're very few and far between. Most of the time, you're fighting against enemies that are supposedly weak to magic or bow and arrow. And that's the other problem. The freaking bow and arrow guy is the only bow and arrow guy I have ever seen that can attack anybody with his bow and arrow. Like, he doesn't shoot arrows. That is, you would think that's your normal attack. When you have a bow and arrow, you would shoot arrows at somebody. That's the attack. No. Your guy does not shoot arrows. He carries a quiver full of arrows and walks up to enemies and smacks them with his bow, which is fucking retarded. His special, he pulls a quiver out and he shoots a rock at enemies, or a plague of frogs, or he can drain their magic. You know, none of them serve a purpose. The plague of frogs attack looks cool, but the chances of it poisoning somebody or doing remotely any amount of good damage are slim to none. You're screwed on that one, so it's a waste of an attack. The only character that I have found, and that's only because I just relied on her spell so much to carry me, was the mage with fireball and the volcanic eruption, which that doesn't even do very much damage. And the way the grid system works, you have to have an enemy in the top piece of the grid or you can't cast it at all. Doesn't matter if there's an enemy in the left or the right grid, you can't cast it if there's nobody in the top grid, which is just dumber than hell. The upgrade system in this game is crap. You get little tokens, whether they're blue, red, or yellow, from chests, beating monsters, or just finding them. And you use those to upgrade your stats, along with leveling up normally from experience. But they literally make no impact on the game. You can get as much health as you want, and you can make your guys as strong as you want. It's almost like the enemies level up with you, even though they're not. Now, I can go back to the beginning area, and I can one-shot enemies left and right. But they still, if they hit you, they still actually do damage. Like, a good amount for, being level 15, 20, 25, and they're only level 1 or 2. They're still hitting you for 10, 15, 20 damage points, which in hindsight isn't a lot when you have, over 1,000, 2,000 health. But it's absolutely, it doesn't make sense. And you'll be playing and you'll just be cruising along, and then all of a sudden you hit that wall, and then you'll grind. And that is the thing of this game, is grinding. You will grind and grind and grind for hours, or you'll get lucky and be smart like I was through a lot of battles. When you kill certain enemies, they'll drop bags. You can pick those up in the game. You can pick those up in mid-battle. But if you're smart, you just leave them. Leave them till the battle's over, because guess what? If you've got a bunch of bags around you, the enemies can't get to you. So they just stand there and they keep moving back and forth. Then you just keep spamming fireball or the rock throw or, whatever. You just keep spamming these attacks to kill them just to make the battles go. And the battles will last anywhere from a couple minutes to an hour or more for regular battles. Not even boss battles, who are some of the cheapest pieces of shit ever in a game. You can out-level these enemies by double, and they will still almost one-shot you with one hit. I fought a level 6 plant boss early in the game, and I was level 12 or 13, with all 3 characters, all my weapons upgraded, everything. And he was still dropping my characters with 1 or 2 hits. And he moved so fast. He got multiple turns while waiting for mine. And my character's speed was insane. They were, astronomically fast compared to the regular enemies in the game, to where I was always attacking multiple times. I get to this level 6 plant boss after I'm already beating level 10, 12, regular enemies. I get to this level 6 plant boss, and he is just coming at me something fierce. And I don't understand that. You then get to about, I'd say, a little over quarter ways, maybe close to halfway point of the game. And all of a sudden they throw monster breeding at you, which it's kind of weird that you waited that long. You talked about it for 8 to 10 hours of me being able to do this before you finally let me do it. And you make me fight a cheap-ass boss just to get this ability to do it. So you get this. You hatch the eggs after you collect them. You incubate them. You go fight some battles while they're hatching. They hatch. They come out. You can upgrade them just like your characters. You can upgrade their skills. But the messed up part is these little monsters that you breed come out and are stronger than your character, even though they're weaker level. Your guy can be level 15 and this monster will come out level 7 and he's hitting for near double the damage that you can hit for. And it makes the game, up to a certain point, a breeze. You're just flowing right through it because it's unbalanced. It makes no sense. When I first started playing the game, I thought to myself, the art style isn't bad. And then I started seeing cutscenes. And when you see the cutscenes, you're going to be like, is this a fucking mobile game? Because that is what it looks like. The more you watch the cutscenes and then the more you watch the gameplay and you're running around and you're playing, the more you're looking at it going, huh, this looks like it could be played on my S9 Plus or my iPhone 8 or 10 or whatever you have. This looks like it'd be a game on that, or a game on the Vita. This game is $29.99, or you can get it on sale for the launch week price of $26.99, so you can save fucking $3. Please don't. Please don't waste your money on this piece of crap. I am sorry. I really want to like this game. I really did. I sunk so much time into it. I started playing it last week, and I played it all week, played it all weekend, all the way up until tonight, which is July 2nd. And I can't do it anymore. This game is one of the worst, most broken, substandard RPGs that I have ever played. It is literally a cash-in if you're just looking for a jrpg. The story is probably one of the worst stories ever. Somehow you fall out of the sky while this girl is casting a spell and you all end up bound together. And so you get to go do errands for everybody until somebody tells you how to break the spell. That's what you're doing the whole game. Fetch quests. And they are, without a doubt, some of the most mundane fetch quests you will do. Case example, to get to the point where you breed the monsters, you collect 3 pieces of paper. And then you go around and find random people, from a zombie standing out in a freaking stone maze to just a regular person, and have them draw, and I kid you not, tattoo designs for the Beastmaster. Why? He never tells you, because guess what? When you give him those 3 pieces of paper, he insults you, and then you have to fight him just to prove you're tough. I don't know. I mean, what was the point of me getting you to the designs if at the end I was going to fight you anyway? You should have just gave me that choice right at the start. Get the tattoos or fight him. Well, I'm just going to fight him, and the hell with it, because why would I want to waste 4 hours of my time or 3 hours of my time running around grinding my level, trying to beat these stupidly, outrageously powerful enemies that serve no purpose, that barely give any XP. And Lord, don't get me started on the gold in this game, because you are grinding just to be able to freaking buy potions so that you can live in battle. And you have to buy your inventory space. Yes, you heard me. Your inventory space, you have to buy it. You have to buy potion bags, armor bags, miscellaneous bags, food bags. You have to buy these to increase how many of these you can carry, which is the dumbest thing possible. You start off carrying 5 potions between 3 characters. Somebody please do the math on that, because I'm pretty fucking sure that 3 divided into 5 doesn't come out to where everybody's carrying the same amount. Now, I could have understood that if you could have said each character can only carry 2 and you can upgrade that. That would have made sense to me. But instead, it's 5 right off the bat. Doesn't matter if you have 1 character, 3 characters, doesn't matter. Oh, you also have to pay to unlock the 4th armor slot for each character individually every time, and the 5th slot. You can't just buy one of the scrolls that says equipment slot 4, and it doesn't work on all the characters. It only works on 1. And the price doubles and triples every time you buy one of these scrolls. So this game is just begging to get the microtransactions, because I know that's what's coming. Because if I remember right, the first game had them where you could buy, you know, gold. Just a piles of gold, just to make the game 10 times easier. And if you had piles of money, yeah, the game would be gravy, because you could just rack up all the inventory slots, all the equipment slots, just everything, and just power through it until you get to the monster part, and then just keep on pressing forward. But until then, until they add these microtransactions, which, please, dear God, if you bought the game, don't buy the microtransactions. Don't support people like this. But until that time happens, you're stuck. You're stuck grinding, and I hope you're prepared to spend 15 to 30 hours, somewhere in there, depending on how cheap you can beat the game, because that's what you're going to have to be. You're going to have to be cheap to go at the game and beat it at its own ways, I guess, you know, using the bag trick and everything I taught you. So do that and try to enjoy it, but I really hope you don't spend the money on this. I don't like giving games horrible reviews. I felt kind of bad after I tore Radical Heights to shreds. But in hindsight, I was right about that one, because I called it. I said that game was a piece of shit and it was going to die, just like Lawbreakers. And guess what? It was a cash grab, like I called it, and it died and the studio closed. Sucks for the people that lost their jobs, but you know what? Maybe put some more thought into a game. Don't rip Overwatch off. You know, don't rip off Fortnite and PUBG. I mean, go do something original. I mean, hell, Cliff did Gears of War, and, you know, do something original. But we're getting off subject. But this game, for right now, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Stay away from this piece of crap. Do not buy it unless it is on a mega sale for like a couple bucks. Because that's what you pay for a mobile game, maybe. A couple bucks. Leave me a comment below. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.